The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of Green Acres and our guests. These general gardening tips and suggestions may work for you, as well as those from alternative sources. When using any garden products or tools, read and follow all label directions. And learn how to make your yard summer strong at bewatersmart.info.
The Green Acres Garden Podcast is the podcast dedicated to helping gardeners hone their growing skills while we celebrate our love of plants. So whether you're new to growing or a seasoned gardener, you're sure to learn something new. Join the fun as we have conversations with world-class growers, passionate green thumbs, and professional garden experts from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Listen every week. We'll answer questions you didn't know you had. Hello, and away we grow. Hey there, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to the show. This is the Green Acres Garden Podcast, my favorite time of the week. I'm your host, Kevin Jordan, teacher by day, garden podcaster by night, and I'm here for another great episode. Austin, of course, is flying co-pilot with me.
Hello, and welcome back to all of our listeners. It's the best time of the week. It's Garden Podcast time. Kevin, what do we have going on this week?
Well, I am fired up because this week's episode, we touch base with a good friend of ours, Kiki, from the Green Acres up there in Folsom, California. Mm-hmm. She is so delightful. She's as lovely as the flowers that she will be talking about today, has so much energy and a lot of experience and enthusiasm for what we're talking about. We're talking about potting up flowers and plants, everything from evergreens to grasses to annuals and perennials, cascading flowers, beautiful shrubs. We're going to get into it. Like I said, I think there's this thought like, it's winter. It's going to be dark and dreary, and it's time to get sad. No, okay, the summer garden is now out, and that's okay. But you can do some really exciting things with containers and pot-ups. It could be on your patio. I suggest whoever's listening, this is going to be a great episode. If you want to just create a little micro paradise on your patio with just one or two pots, Kiki's the person for you. She gives us a lot of ideas where it's conceptual. She has an artistic approach, but there's also like a method to the madness, and I think we're going to get into it.
I totally agree. And we have covered how to generally create a pot-up in the past with the thriller, the filler, and the spiller, right? And that is a key concept for doing a pot-up. But what's so exciting is that Kiki takes it beyond that. And we start going into contrasting textures, contrasting colors, go-tos that make any pot-up really sing with like the magic of the season, right? So I'm really excited about this week because I learned new things from Kiki by doing this.
And you got to spend time and film it all, bud.
I know. So I got to make a little video with Kiki as well. It's not a super long one. It's just about 3 minutes long, and it shows you some really great examples of her pot-ups because Kiki does a lot of the combos that are potted up at the Folsom store, and people are always asking who made these or what plants are these. So this is an opportunity. Go check the link in the episode description. There's a YouTube video there with Kiki showing off some of her really amazing pot-ups, right? And a couple key takeaways, like one of her favorite go-tos is the Dusty Miller because it's this vibrant white kind of plant that
texture and color.
Yeah, it makes everything pop against it. So there's cool things like that to learn, and I know that you'll be inspired if you check it out. So check out the video, but also let's go listen from the maestro herself, Kiki. We met up with Kiki at the Green Acres in Folsom, like you said, Kevin, to learn all about how to pot up some fall magic. Here we go.
One of the things that I'm really excited about is, because I do a lot of the displays for outside sales with trees and shrubs.
Beautiful.
But I also do all the containers with a lot of the annuals and perennials. And so people ask me all the time, how do you do it?
Because they look so nice.
And so I thought it might be a good idea to share just some real simple strategies to add a little bit of color and texture and excitement of fall into your space, whether it's a small container, on a balcony, or maybe you need to add some extra plants in your landscape.
I've got an empty wine barrel on my front porch. It's perfect for this.
All right. One of the most important things to do is go into the nursery and see what new things they have, because
I love doing that.
right. So nurseries basically for the most part are going to do micro seasons, which is the little transition times between the 4 seasons. So right now we're in that magical spot of fall, or actually late summer into fall. So now a lot of the summer perennials are making way for more of the fall flowers and more of the fall trees that we have. And when you think of trees, what do you think of? You think of like October Glory or red maple.
Oh,
you
yeah.
think of a flamethrower redbud, which is absolutely stunning. If you listeners out there have never heard of it, Google it. And
Yeah, is it pretty?
it's a feast for your eyeballs. So again, taking those same similar easy concepts, how are you going to start the process of building something that is interesting, that has color and has texture and looks good?
Can we start up with maybe a small pot up?
Yes,
I know some maybe like a 10,
100%.
20 gallon pot.
So what I'm going to advise you to do, and I tell this to people all the time, grab a cart, go into the greenhouse or wherever they have their annuals and perennials, and use your cart as your pallet. This is where you're going to basically build what you're going to plant. So it allows you to look at what plants are the freshest, what is really vibrant to you, what really stands out, and you're going to pull those plants and start to build a thriller, filler, and spiller right on your cart.
So actually physically setting them right next to each other
set
as
it
they
on-
would be in the
right?
container. Yeah,
So,
like a mock-up.
Right. One of my favorites is the Wilma Goldcrest Lemon Cypress. This guy usually shows up at around Christmas time at stores, but we have them in
Pretty
stock
little
right now.
evergreen.
Oh my gosh, and they smell like lemon when you run your hands over them.
Love that.
Oh, they're
Oh, yeah.
fabulous, right? So this guy is going to be a pretty good sized little tree. It's going to get like 6 to 8 feet.
Kind of narrow, but vertically.
Yeah, so
goes
an
more vertical.
easy thing to do here is you could just pop in some little violas all around it of whatever colors you like. And then as a spiller, you could take, I'm going to keep running kind of with that bright chartreuse theme. You could run a gold creeping Jenny down the side, right? So that's an example of a really easy, great looking container. And this little tree is evergreen, so it's gonna look, I planted some last year. Guess what? They're still out there. They still look fabulous almost a year later.
What are some of your go-to just annuals that you're seeing people utilize for the cool season?
Yeah, so ice poppies are really,
Oh, yeah.
really pretty. And talk about something that's delicate and very ethereal. Again, violas, dianthus, snapdragons are really
Classic.
strong for something taller. Ornamental kale and cabbage, especially this time of year, if you want to make a really fun Halloween type container. There's going to be also calendula, which is really pretty. Grasses are spectacular this time of year. They have beautiful plumes.
Yeah, that one's gorgeous.
Which are
I know
their
we've talked about this
flowers.
one in the past. This is
This
beautiful.
one's called grandma grass. This is blonde ambition. And grasses are amazing. It makes you think of pumpkins. You can't not help and think about fall with that. But grandma grass is really beautiful. The flowers are the seed pods that are at the end. And this one, I don't even know how to describe this seed pod. It's
Looks like a musical note.
it does, kind
is
of.
so cool.
Right? And one of the neat things with grasses, also in your landscape or in a container, is that they are like little pieces of art. I mean, compared to everything else here, this has its own specific look.
A lot of verticality, a little bit airiness. All
Yeah.
the foliage is down low. You get these tall flower spikes with these fuzzy little dash-like seed pods on the. They're really pretty. And as you were kind of shaking it with your hands, just it made me think the wind when those things blow in a slight breeze. It really is
Exactly.
like moving art.
Right, and so grasses can be phenomenal. So they can be perennial like this one if you wanted to use that as a thriller. Or you could also bring in Lomandra, Miner's Gold, which is one of my favorites because it is so vibrant. It's chartreuse. It's that bright, lemony, yellow, green color. And this guy's evergreen. So if you wanted to add some cyclamen next to it, that pink just pops off of that.
Another cool
so
weather
hard.
flowering. I just love this.
Exactly. So my main thing is when you're building these containers, I think one of the best pieces of advice besides following the thriller, filler, spiller for the construct is when you think about color, don't make it just about the color of the bloom. Don't make it just about the flower. I pay attention to the leaf color because when the plant is finished blooming, what you have left potentially if it could be a pot full of just green leaves, right? So if you pay attention to the color of the leaf, like
I was going to say half of your plants up here are beautiful because of their leaves.
yes,
The leaf color alone.
Just on leaf color, like hello coleus.
Yeah.
Coleus is a star. One of the things I also want to mention to people, so coleus, I have a lot of really big containers here that have coleus that are 2 to 3 feet tall in them. And the key is you want to plant your coleus in April. If you plant it in April when they first come in, you have 5 months for this plant to just get really big by the time October rolls around. And then you're going to have all these beautiful colors of burnt orange and chartreuse and cherry red that you...
The magentas,
Yes.
the lime greens.
that you can totally work with. And so, again, the leaf color is so key.
They do bloom, but their flowers are just second fiddle
Yeah, and so
to their
at
foliage.
this point, the flowers are just like a cherry on top to me. So, think about, because you want to create depth too. And that's one of my favorite stars is Dusty Miller. So
it looks kind of like a coleus in a way, but it's totally,
it does.
it
It's
is like
silver
a ghost.
and it's velvet. I mean,
Yeah.
the texture of this looks like it's velvet. So one of the cool things with textures, you can have smooth textures, you can have soft, you can have spiky, glossy, matte, you can have fine, like an asparagus fern is a fine texture. So when you combine all these together, it's such a feast for your eyes.
That amplifies the other one for sure.
And so thriller, filler, spiller, and then think about the color of the leaf of the plant. So that if there's a contrast like between a deep purple heuchera and a dusty miller, they almost ignite one another when they're next to each other.
Absolutely.
Right? And of course, you guys, we also need to remember in containers, you want to be able to use herbs and things like that, or seeds, or bulbs, right?
Absolutely.
Right now in the store, you can get nasturtiums.
Spicy.
Nasturtiums, not only can you eat them, the flowers and the leaves, but again, they make a great spiller in a container.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And
Edible and beautiful.
yeah, and then if you think about mint, if you think about sage, if you think about rosemary, at Christmas time, you can get little rosemary Christmas tree shaped plants here.
Oh, yeah, I've
that
seen
you
those.
could easily put in a pot up. And oh my God, they smell so
Yeah, you have the
good.
upright rosemary you can grow. You got the trailing rosemary. There's a lot you can choose from.
Yeah.
And they tend to do pretty well.
And they're great for pollinators too, right?
Oh,
the
yeah.
rosemary especially, because they will
Those little blue
bloom.
flowers come out, and
Yes.
the bees just love it.
Exactly. So, don't forget about your herbs. And for beginners, herbs can be a really easy way to go in a pot up.
They're forgiving, for sure.
Rosemary is tough as nails.
Absolutely.
right?
And delicious. I mean, it's nice to be able to have something that you can kind of nibble on.
Put a little bit on your turkey when you're roasting your turkey for
Something.
Thanksgiving. Yes.
Absolutely. Now we've got some ideas swirling in our heads. I'm sure listeners are like, does the container style matter? Some people grow in plastic. Some people they have, like me, I have a wine barrel, it's
Yeah.
made of oak. Some people have, terracotta and things. What are those considerations? What are the best practices
So
for choosing a pot?
Material definitely matters. So like terracotta breathes really well. If you live in a colder area where you get frost, make sure you have a frost-proof container outside. You know, ceramics hold moisture really well. Lightweight resin is ideal for patios. And the other thing to remember too is drainage is essential in these containers, especially in the wintertime. Do not overwater your containers and drown the plants and give them root rot. They need to be able to drain well. You want to elevate the pot slightly above the ground, because if you have it sitting in a saucer and it's wet and raining, oftentimes all that moisture can start to creep up from the bottom of the pot up.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then you just have mush. So you definitely don't want that. Remember to let the pot frame the art. You know, your plants are the stars, right? All these colors, all these textures, the spikiness, the smooth, the matte, all the different colors and textures we were talking about. Let the plants be the stars, right? You could also think about, you know, if you're doing pots, maybe do a group of 3 pots in a cluster. Maybe one pot is really tall, maybe your second pot is rounder and fatter, and then you have another one that's smaller or more low. And then to make something cohesive between the 3 of them, either choose a repeating color or choose a repeating plant, like use Dusty Miller in each one. You know what I'm saying? And the most important part about containers, open your mind to the creative process of just making yourself have so much fun. Don't just think about plants, think about bulbs. Like, create surprises. Maybe you want some daffodils sprouting up. Maybe you want an amaryllis. Amaryllis bulbs are one of my favorites that I throw in my yard like crazy, and they bloom forever in the spring. Maybe you want to throw in some seeds even. You can even do that. Just think outside the box, use your imagination, see what's fresh and beautiful, and then grab that cart and start designing, but putting everything together. Start with something tall. It can either be evergreen or not. Again, I encourage you to do evergreen because it's going to hold the look down of that container.
Yeah, season to season. It's
Just
gonna look
like
nice.
an evergreen does in your landscape, right? It's going to stay lush all year round.
And you take
versus-
you take care of it, it's going to look pretty good year after year. It's going
Yeah.
to get a little bit more mature. It's gonna,
Exactly.
That cordyline gets a little stem on her, you know.
So the other things to think about on just kind of, you know, make sure that you get plants that all have similar water needs. Make sure that you have plants that all need similar exposures to sun or shade, right?
That's great advice, because it's like, it can be pretty difficult. You start putting a low water need plant with, you know, a bog plant, with one that takes full sun, with one that wants shade. No
Yeah.
one's happy.
And so think about it when you're putting rosemary and sage and different things together. Some of these are very Mediterranean style herbs, and so they're low water. They're not
Once they're
going to.
established.
They don't want to be drowned like crazy.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea to kind of pair similar things together that have similar needs.
When now the soil in a container, let's say somebody started one last year, beautiful container, had a great summer. They're going to the fall. They're pulling out the zinnias and whatnot, and they're going to replant. Do they have to replenish the soil? Do they rejuvenate it a little bit, or do they do nothing?
I would always recommend to take the soil out. You can always put it in your yard, reuse it in something else, put it in your compost. I would always put in fresh soil, and you always want to use potting soil, because potting soil is designed to have extra good drainage. You know, if you put in something that's a heavier soil, it can make the root ball of a plant too hot in a container. So you want to be careful with that. That's why it's called potting soil. Use it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, try to avoid putting a bunch of rocks in the bottom of your pot.
Yes.
Right?
Say that again.
Yes, because it holds water at
Yeah.
the root ball, which is where plants don't want to be sitting in standing water, right? And so your goal always with the pot is to have excellent drainage. So one of the things you can do is, if you have leftover window screen, you can cut out little pieces to put over the drainage hole of your pot, so it'll act like a sieve, so your soil doesn't go through. You don't have to put a bunch of rocks down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like that's important, especially if you are putting, let's say you want to get a topiary shrub and put it in a container. That shrub is going to get bigger. It's going to use that entire container for its root ball. And if you fill half of that container with rocks, then once the shrub roots start growing down there, they're just going to be sitting in water.
Yeah. Good advice. I love it.
Yeah. So I think you can have a great time. The best part of it is I feel like plants are glowing again after the heat of the summer.
Yes.
And so we're all in a better mood. You can grab a little pumpkin spice latte, get a container, find all your favorite little plants, and listen to some great music and connect yourself with nature, because that will always put you in a great mood.
Well, Kiki, I gotta say, you did not disappoint. We didn't even get to even talk about all the plants and flowers you brought, just some of the all-stars, which I appreciate. But gosh, thank you so much for your time. I'm fired up as always to get out in the garden, and man, I really got to get some open containers because this is just fun. It's fun to do pot ups. I love it.
Well, you know who to talk to if you need any help or inspiration, and I'm always here for that.
I appreciate it.
I always love getting people excited about plants because they relax you, they give you something beautiful to look at, and after all the stress of the day, there's nothing better than a plant to just calm you down.
Yeah, or a collection of them.
Yes! Well, thank you so much, and I had a wonderful time, and again, get out there and enjoy the fall, people.
All right, we are back from our interview with Kiki. Big thank you to Kiki. Thank you so much for schooling us up. And Kevin, I wonder what your big takeaways are. Is there a new plant that you're loving in a combination, or certain combos that you're really loving? What are you inspired by now?
To me, when I see these pot ups, I really love the contrasting colors. Specifically, I love you get like a lime green plant, like the potato vine that will cascade over the edge, or if you want something like more of a filler to be lime green, like there's the heuchera that she had brought out, where it really is just this bright lime green that really makes everything else look great compared to, like, say, in contrast to the coleus, where you get these purples and kind of these vibrant colors that will then kind of, I think, marry well and bounce off of.
Sure.
I love all that stuff.
Can I ask you about heuchera?
Yeah, I love
Am I
heuchera.
saying that right?
I think so, yeah. Heuchera, coral bells.
I think I'm kind of new to it. I think I've seen it before, but I've never really focused on it before. And I learned a cool tip from Kiki, which is, and it's in the video too, where she was talking about coleus is really bright and vibrant, but once it fades out, heuchera is the one that can take over, and they have beautiful silvery colors, or there's the coral bells one that's pretty vibrant.
And some will have like incredible veins in their leaf. You get purples and pinks. You get these incredible yellows, and even kind of like I've seen some that are kind of coppery, where it's a little bit more of a subdued color.
It's a pretty cool plant.
Very cool plant. The leaves stay low.
Okay.
And what's kind of cool is a lot of the pot ups, some of the most amazing flowers that we'll use, a lot of them are annuals. So you pop them in, you get to enjoy them, and they're done after the season. The pansies, the Iceland poppies, the ornamental kale, the snapdragons. Those ones tend to be, they'll do great through our cool season, then eventually they go. But the heuchera, coral bells, that's a perennial. So once you plant it, you get to have it year after year after year. The leaves, the foliage are gorgeous, like we mentioned, a lot of different colors to choose from. But what's cool is they have these little kind of mellow little flower spikes that come up, kind of a casual little small blossom, not super showy, but hummingbirds love them. And like I said, the flowers are tiny, so it's really fun to see hummingbirds kind of come down to ground level, or if it's in a container, up off the ground a bit, but they'll come right to those blossoms. They'll drink, they'll feed. They're great. I love them in the garden, especially if you have somewhere that gets like a morning sun, afternoon shade. They really tend to do well. So I'm a big fan of those. One good, thriller that I like for this time of year, especially if you have a big pot, and this is speaking to producer Greg, he kind of got this in my mind. I love it for him for this, is the Camellia sasanqua, the Yuletide.
Oh, yeah.
It's an evergreen. It's a camellia, and it kind of blooms in the off season when things are a little bit cooler. Has a flatter blossom. and they're red and they're beautiful. And I think other pollinators, hummingbirds are pretty big fans as well. And it's just a nice standard like evergreen plant that will fill up and kind of anchor the plant, and then you can kind of change the things around it as the seasons change. So for me, I love the idea of doing pot ups because not everybody has the time, the space, or the money to have a big, beautiful, massive garden. I wish we all did. That'd be great. Everyone would walk around just an oasis. But if you don't have the time, the space, or whatever, you can have your own beautiful oasis on your patio and it can start with single pot. And these plants, when you start to see them put together, like you mentioned in the beginning, the Dusty Miller, that was my mom's favorite. She loved that plant. And the flowers aren't much to speak of. There's these small little yellow flowers, but the foliage, I mean, come on, it looks like fabric. It looks like something, it's like you could wear it. It's so soft and it's white and silvery. And like you mentioned, it just makes anything around it that much prettier. It's like a hype man. It just makes, it's like, oh, lift you up, bud.
That's awesome.
So those kind of plants, I think it's fun. Sometimes we get kind of stuck in our own little bubble. Like, okay, I'll just put one plant in this pot.
Sure.
And sometimes I see container gardening where it's like that and it's very clean and that's fine. Sometimes you might see a thriller and a filler and no spiller. Or you might see a thriller and just spiller. But I think having all three, you're really going to kind of open up opportunities to make this, when all the plants do mature, they just look so good. I mean, we saw some of the ones that Kiki did at the nursery as examples, and some of them are in really large pots, and they are gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, they're cool. And there's other ones at all the stores, really. You can kind of go to any store and check out what the employees have put together there. There's other Kikis at other stores doing great pot ups too. And I've even seen online other like cool themes like goth combinations or
those darks.
You can do weird themes that you're inspired by. Yeah, so you can combine like really black mondo grass with like a really rich red or something else, and it gives off a goth vibe, which is really fun,
Absolutely. And one I really love, especially to maybe go into a container with that Camellia sasanqua Yuletide, you could do like the cyclamen, where the flowers are red up top. You could get like white or pink or red cyclamen to go down below it, and they just look so good together. It looks very classy. I love it. To me, it's kind of like you ever been to like a doing where you do painting and wine and all that, Austin?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I've done that years ago, and one time I was having a great time, and I was like, man, I'm pretty good at this. I'm looking up at mine. I'm like, man, I'm pretty good.
You're feeling
and
good.
then I look over at everybody else's. They're almost finished, and theirs are gorgeous. Then I look back at mine, and I'm like, okay, I'm not that good. So for me, I love the way that these flowers, these plants, and the way Kiki brought it up, it's kind of like an artist kind of selecting paintbrushes, selecting paints, and then putting it together to make a beautiful piece of art. And I liked her advice to walk the nursery, create like a virtual pot on your cart where it's like imaginary, and then you start kind of filling in those plants before you even plant them, and you're kind of just getting these ideas how they're going to look. And with the containers, you can kind of push these plants closer together, get them to kind of get close shoulder to shoulder so they fill in a little quicker. There is so much to be done with pot ups and containers, from all these beautiful flowers, even the ornamental grasses and edibles as well. So I'm fired up on it. And for anybody who's listening, like I said, if you don't have the access to a lot of space in your garden, but you want to have something beautiful to come home to, consider container gardening.
Absolutely.
Kiki is the way.
All right. Big shout out to Kiki. Thanks for the inspiration. And I want to challenge our listeners to maybe do your own pot up, or if you already have some really cool ones at your house, we're looking for more inspiration. We want to share it with our group. So go ahead and share some photos of your pot ups in our Facebook group, the Green Acres Garden Podcast Facebook group. I'll put a link in to the episode description. Actually, I think it's already there. It's on every week. But go ahead and find that and share what you got. That's all for this week. Kevin, go ahead and take us out.
I love it. That's great. Great idea, Austin. I'll post some of mine as well.
Perfect.
All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for being here. We love having you. We hope you have a great week out in your garden. Please go make the best of your week. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to as many people as you can. And come back next week for some more garden adventures. We are sure to delight you. We have so much planned. It's going to be an incredible autumn season. Until then, garden friends, happy gardening to you all. And please, never stop growing.